can we start?
Yes, please.
So, good evening, everyone, and good evening, Bhante. We are back again at the Monday Sutta class. Okay. So, before we start, let me light the oil lamp here.
Can you move the TV on the left side a little bit? I think it's covering the the TV.
Sorry, Bhante, I can't hear you. Bhante, can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, this TV, can you be a little bit more, a little bit to the side? Maybe the left side TV. I think a TV. Yes. Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes, everything is okay. Please go ahead.
It's okay. Bhante, welcome, and we're ready to start this evening's. Okay, you're waving your hands. I thought something's wrong. Start this evening's Dhamma sharing. So this evening's Dhamma sharing is on the Sutta, on the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and today we'll be discussing the third part of the Noble Truths, and this is the cessation of unsatisfactoriness, Dukkha Nirodha Arya Satcham. So we've completed the first two, the last 2 Mondays, and today we will carry on with the third part. Bhante, I will hand the mic to you.
Thank you, Brother Leslie. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to day 16 of BMV Monday Sutta discussion. And we have been discussing about the second noble truth last Monday. Today, we will be discussing about the third noble truth. Before we get started, let's pay homage to the Lord. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. The third noble truth is about the cessation of the dukkha. And I think all of you have the text and the translation. And there is the note today. Chapter. Let's go to the text first. So we have done up until 39. So today will be from 40, 48 to 48 to 42. Not that long, but there are things that we need to discuss about it. Idam. Okay, let me read the section for last week a little bit, just to get a sense of what it is to the connection. Idang kopana bhikkhave dukkha samudaya ariya satcham, and we discuss about the second noble truth. It's about dukkha samudaya. Dukkha samudaya is tanha, which leads to rebirth, and which is accompanied by delight and lust, nandi and raga. And the nature is that, what do you call, seeking delight here and there. In that context, we discuss about three types of tanha: kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. And today, uh, it is about the cessation of that dukkha. Just to have a kind of a recap about what we discussed on that day, let me ask you, how many contexts can we see about tanha in the text, in the sutta text? There are two contexts for tanha. One is tanha by what you call kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. The other context is rupa tanha, saddha tanha, gandha tanha, pottabha tanha, dhamma tanha, rasa tanha, pottabha tanha, dhamma tanha. So these are the two contexts that we see about tanha. When you go to Abhidhamma, there are how many tanhas are there in the Abhidhamma? 108. 108. Okay. This is how we explain about tanha last Monday. I just wanted to see whether you remember. Right. Then, idang ko panabhikkhave dukkha nirodhang ariya satcha. Now, it's because it's the noble truth of cessation of dukkha. Yo tassa eva tanhaya asesa viraga nirodha. Right. Now, it's the tanha, the same tanha that we discussed over here, right? Same tanha. Right? But there is something interesting to learn here. Your tassa eva tanha, it is the asesa. Asesa. Asesa means remainderless. There's nothing left. Asesa. Viraga. Viraga means any, what do you call, attachment, any desire, any attachment towards the tanha. So it is the remainderless fading away. You could say viraga as fading away, nirodha, cessation. So fading away and cessation of the same. Now that means tanha has to be fully eliminated, eradicated. So there shouldn't have any leftover, that tanha. If you have any leftover with tanha, that means you are still in the sansara. You have not achieved the nibbana, right? This is what we understand about asesa viraga nirodha. And then what are we going to learn here is there are couple words that we have to understand. These are actions, particular actions that happen when you are trying to eliminate or eradicate, overcome your tanha. Chago, patinissaggo, mutti, analayo. All right. So now here, the purpose is to eliminate or eradicate tanha remainderless. In a remainderless way, that means there shouldn't have any remainder in your tanha. Now, what do we call by remaindering tanha? Like a tanha, sorry, I would say eliminating tanha with some remainder. That means you have not completely finished the path. That means you still have some remainder. Probably you are still a Sotapan, maybe even beyond that, Utujjana, an unenlightened person. Maybe you are a Sakadagami, maybe you are an Anagami. So that means you have a remainder. It is not Asesa, it is Sesa. But here, when you become an Arahant one day, then you will have to eliminate without remainder, Asesa, and Viraga Nirodha, fading away. And in order for you to do it, you have to look at certain actions. Chago, that means giving up of this tanha. Do we find this word in other places, chago? First, let's identify. Chago means giving up of tanha. Then, giving up of those tanhas. Then, patinisaggo means relinquishment of the three tanhas. Giving up of three tanhas. Patinisaggo, relinquishment of three tanhas. Then, mutti, freedom from those three tanhas. Then, analayo, not reliance of those three tanhas. So, chago, patinisaggo, mutti, analayo. Chago means giving up. Patinisagga means relinquishment. And mutti means freedom, releasing. And analayo means no reliance, non-reliance on it. So I think unless we do these actions, we are not giving up, we are not relinquishing, we are not freeing from it, and we are highly relying on tanha. So this is the same tanha that we have to eliminate without a remainder. Now, without a remainder means if you still have some other, I would say, leftover or remainder, then you are not able to fully complete the path. Now let's talk about some of the Pali words. Chaga. What does chaga mean? Have you ever heard this word before? Chaga. Now let me ask you, what is chaga? Somebody can answer. Chaga. Chaga means, what is the context of chaga that you have studied before? Somebody can unmute your the laptop's audio so I can hear if somebody is saying something to me. Yeah. Suranga, can you unmute? All right. What does chaga mean in your own understanding? Chaga means, chaga means giving. Giving. See, you know the context. But there is another word called dana. D long A N A, dana. It is also giving, right? Then what is the difference between these two? Are they same? Synonymous? That's the question. Now we have to study that. We have to understand it before we going further. Now somebody can tell me what could be the difference. There is a difference between chaga and let me write that here so you will understand. Right. Probably do something like this. Right. Chaga and dana. Okay. Can you all see these two terms? Chaga and dana. Now chaga means giving up. Dana means literal meaning. Huh? Tyaga means giving up. Dana means giving. That means the way how you do it, your action will take the Pali word. Right? Whenever you offer dana, you could call it chaga. If you give up, that means you must give up something. But you are supposed to give up in your offering. You have to give up lobha, dosa, moha. Then it will become chaga. If you do not give up those three, it will become a simple dana. But dana also has the chaga if you're going to talk it in a broader way. But simply speaking, the literal meaning of the two words is uh, chaga means giving up, dana means giving. All right. That means chaga is the true meaning of dana. The proper way to do a dana is chaga. That is why the Buddha said, even this action can be used to talk about tanha, the process of the elimination of tanha. Chaga of tanha. You have to give up tanha. That's why you can see it here. Chagu. Right? Chagu. Chagu means kama tanha, bhava tanha, bhava tanha. Patinissaggu. Patinissaggu. This is also a word about dana activity. Patinissaggu. Patinissaggu means release. You are not trying to hold. You are not trying to amass, hold. You are not trying to bring things together toward you. You are going to release the proprietorship, ownership, uh, your belonging stuff. You are going to release them onto other people. Now here, you have the tanha, you give up the tanha, then you give up the ownership of tanha. Do you have to give up what you have in order to get rid of tanha? Not necessarily. It depends. Sometimes you are using, but you don't have craving attached to it. Right? You are mindfully using them. Sometimes you might be a person who do not have a lot of stuff, but you still have tanha for those tiny little things. Then on the other hand, there may be somebody who has lots of stuff. You see lots of things, big stuff, large stuff, but that person has no craving to stuff. It could be vice versa, right? So the problem here is that how you look at them, how you give the meaning to what you have. So definitely you have to give up the tanha that is attached to different people, things. Then you have to release the ownership of the tanha that is surrounding with objects. Then let's go continue. Chago, chago, patinissaggo. Then mutti. Mutti. Mutti means freedom. When we are owning things, when we are trying to belong to certain things, now actually there is a word called sense of belong. People like you, everybody, I think, we all like to have a sense of belonging to other people. To call other people, you are my this and that, right? So we feel happy. I have people. Right? I have somebody to take care of me. Parents feel very blessed when their children are taking care of the parents. Partners feel good that each other are taking care of them. Children, parents, children, and everybody, right? Even the citizens of a country, when they feel that the government really takes care of them, if that is happening. But it is said that freedom from tanha is what we call by mutti. Mutti means we need freedom. Sometimes when you are going to take care of other people, they might feel that they are sort of controlled. They're sort of manipulated by you. Sometimes the care can become a manipulation. But here, what we have to understand is that we have to release our tanha. when you release your tanha, you are looking for that bigger freedom, that freedom. Do not get mistaken, do not misunderstand your personal relationships. You have to continue those dearly cordial relationship in a nice way. I'm talking about the Buddha talks here, that larger, broader perspective of tanha and what you are supposed to do, right? So at that point, chaga, that means you're going to give up your tanha. Then patinissagga, you're going to relinquish, release. And mutti, also you are going to free yourself from tanha. Because when you are into tanha, you are not freeing yourself. You got to free yourself. And then analayo. Analayo. What is alayo? I can write something. Alayo. Ala. You can put alaya. What is alaya? Alaya. This Pali word comes from Sanskrit. Alaya means place. Alaya means place. So analayo means that another meaning is reliance or dependence. Alaya. Analayo means that you are not going to rely on tanha. You are not going to depend on tanha. In our day-to-day life, are we depending on our tanha? Are we? Are we depending on our tanha for our own happiness? Since morning up until night, if the people you really love, you really like, do not reply to you, do not appreciate you, do not thank you back, if the place you are working is not giving enough compliments to you, enough probably incentives, that working energy, would you be okay with that? Or would you be going after them? Hey, you should have done it. You should have done it. You should have at least said thank you to me. You should have talked to me. You should have replied to me. So that means we are highly reliant on our tanha. That is why we get hurt at the end of the day. Isn't it? We are. So we should not be dependent on our. Now here tanha means those craving for different people, things, etc., etc. So they all come as tanha. The trigger is tanha. At the end of the day, you are not calling that this is my tanha. You are calling these are the people that I have to depend on. That are my emotional happiness, my happiness totally depends on these people, these things. If they don't work, if they don't function the way that you want them to be, then you are so much bothered by those people, things. That is why we should not depend on, right? If you are not relying on your tanha, if you are not, because you understand, this is my tanha, I know I have some tanha, but I'm not going to depend on my tanha. That is the higher way of looking at it. You might not be able to get rid of tanha in a day or fortnightly. Might not be easy. But at least you know this is my tanha. So I'm not going to depend on it. That is important. That is the first step to do. Without going to hit that bigger thing, at least you know what to do. Let's go back again to these words. Chago, giving up of tanha. Patinissaggo, relinquishment of tanha. Mutti, freeing that tanha. Analayo, non-relying or non-depending on that tanha. What you are supposed to do? Giving up, relinquishing, freeing, non-relying of kamatanha, bhavatanha, vibhavatanha. That is what you call by the cessation. The cessation of dukkha. That means our dukkha largely relies on the non-giving up, non-relinquishing, non-freeing, non-relying on tanha. Then you are creating your own happiness. Once again, I have to caution you. It doesn't mean that you have to walk away from your dearly cordial relationships. You are going to maintain them by being mindful and understanding how you're going to look at them in a proper way. You're going to be a good father, you're going to be a good husband, good wife, good partner, good children, whoever, but you understand what is happening, what is going on. All right, so this is the text. Then I'm going to go to any questions before I jump into the notes? You can raise your hand, I can see. Okay, looks like no at the moment, maybe later. All right. Then we're going to go to the notes. I think if you cannot see the screen, you can go to the blog and then check the note, right? That is also easier. But you can also keep looking at the screen too. So I'm going to show it. First, I have asked a question here. Do we have Nibbanic moments in our life? What does it mean? Do we have Nibbanic moments, like some of the very rare moments in our life? I call a Nibbanic moment here to an experience or maybe to a moment where you have least Lobadosa moment. Do you have such moments? Yes, why not? You are not that bad. You are not that evil. None of us. There are moments we are trying, we will be with the least raga, least loba, least dosa, least more Nibbanic moment. We are not hitting Nibbana, but at least we are there. Right? You feel like so serene, so tranquil. My raga has been so reduced, my loba has been so reduced, my dosa has been so reduced. Moha definitely has been reduced, but not permanently gone, but reduced, superseded, withdrawn for whatever the reason. So I think we have Nibbana. Before that, one day we can really attain Nibbana, but before that, we can feel certain moments of that happiness. But they could be very flashing moments. They are not very continuing moments because of unenlightening process. But there are some flashing moments of feeling what could be the Nibbana like? Kind of an elementary level of Nibbana, lessening of raga, dosa, moha. We feel some happiness, you know. That happiness I call Nibbanic moments. Definitely everybody has, depending on their level of the mind. Then let's go to understand the literal meaning of Nibbana. Okay, literal meaning. So in order to understand Nibbana, I have to tell you two Pali words. Nibbana and Nibbuti. Okay, Nibbana and Nibbuti. Now let's understand what is Nibbana and what is Nibbuti. Nibbana is what you call Nibbana is what you call the action. That means we simply call it blowing out or extinguishing the fires of what you call lust, hatred, delusion. These are called as fires, or in other words, they are called as poisons. So blowing out, let's say, those fires. That is Nibbana, but not yet finished. So we call it Nibbana, blowing out or extinguishing those main fires. Nibbuti. Nibbuti means this Pali word. You can see it here. Maybe I can write it here. This is Nibbana. The other Pali word is Nibbuti. Nibbuti. Nibbuti means result. This is the result of this one. Nibbana, Nibbuti. Nibbuti means extinguishment. Nibbana, to extinguish. Right? Nibbuti means the result of your action of Nibbana. That means you're going to extinguish the fires of Loba Dosa Moha, then you will become into the Nibbuti, right? Nibbuti. That one is Nibbana, Nibbana, and Nibbuti, right? Can you remember a story, very famous story, probably to many of you, that when one lady called Kisa Gautami happened to see Prince Siddhartha, she recited a stanza. That stanza has Nibbuti in many places. Let's learn it here. We will understand. Kisa Gautami. Nibbuta nona sa mata, Nibbuto nona sopita, Nibbuta nona sa nari, Yassayang idi sopa. Meaning, a mother who had a son like this, Niputo nona sopia, a father who had a son like this, like Prince Siddhartha. Nibbuta nona sa nari, a woman who had a husband like this. Yassa ayang idi sopa, are certainly being contented. Now, Nibbuta means, another meaning is the perfect content. Or I would say, perfect blowing out, perfect extinguishment. But the word, Pali word Nibbuta has been used. That means at that time, when they refer to the complete, perfect contentment, they use Nibbuta, right? Now, even today, if you go to the West, in the pop culture, they call Nirvana. For some of the words that they cannot explain. They think this is the highest place, right? You even have a cemetery over there, Nirvana, right? So they put it that way, Nirvana. People don't try interpreting what this is all, like Shangri-La, you know. So the idea is that Nibbuti, the result of this Pali word means the perfect contentment. It's Nibbana, definitely there, the perfect extinguishment of Ragadosa. Now, Ragadosa mean definitely Tanha. The key thing underlining of Ragadosa Moha is Tanha. So, Nibbuta, please understand the difference between Nibbana and Nibbuti. That is what I wanted to tell at the beginning. And if you go to Atanatiya Sutta, a sutta that is being mostly chanted by the monks, you can see this one. Ye chapi nipputa loke yatha bhutam vipassina. Those who have attained Nibbana in the world, they have already have vipassana. Yatha bhutam vipassana. Nibbuta. Nibbuta means the result of Nibbana. So when you have it, you definitely have the vipassana. Another meaning, as you can see here, Vana derived from the root of va, which means to blow. Same meaning. Nirvana then means to blow out, extinguish. Okay. First area that we are discussing is what is Nibbana? Now we all discuss about Nibbana. What is Nibbana? Idang kopana bhikkave dukkha nirodhang ariya satcham yotassa eva tanmaya asesa viraga nirodho chago patinissaggo mutti ananda. This is Nibbana. Now I would like to ask from you, what is Nibbana? Tell me according to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. What is Nibbana? It is the remainderless fading away and the ceasing of the tanha by ways of chaga, patinissagga, mutti, anale. That is done. Sorry, Nibbana. Nibbana is the remainderless fading away and ceasing of the tanha by ways of chaga, patinissagga, mutti, anale. That is Nibbana. That means in order for you to get rid of tanha, you must practice chaga, patinissagga, mutti, anale. These actions. That is what we understand by Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. But are there any other meanings of what is Nibbana in your own way? We can discuss that. Anybody else here who would have a different interpretation of any Buddhist text? Or this is the same understanding you have about what Nibbana is? This is the Buddha's way. This is how the Buddha explained about what Nibbana is. All right. Into the notes. The extinction of the three fires. When these three fires are extinguished, release from samsara, the perpetual grasping activity of the mind, or the cycle of rebirth is attained. You can see that once you blow out the three fires, then what will happen there? You are releasing from samsara. I think that one we had discussed about. Releasing from samsara. Are we supposed to release us from samsara? If so, why? Is samsara such a dangerous journey? Or it's a journey of mixture of happy and bad things? Samsara can be a dangerous journey because we never know whether we can practice Dhamma in the next life. Can we guarantee whether we can practice Dhamma in our next life? We don't know where we will be reborn. Even in this human world, you can see the wars, problems coming up. You see people like you, you're so blessed to learn Dhamma, right? Such a blessing. So we never know whether we will be able to learn Dhamma in the next life. We may be or we may be not. Mostly we may be not. Now you have the opportunity. You have everything now. So why don't we try in our best way? So samsara is a dangerous journey. But just because samsara is a dangerous journey, we cannot do things in one day. Can we? Can we practice all these Dhamma things in one day, in 1 week, in 1 month? You can't do that. That is a futile effort. So we take time. But we should take a quality time under the proper right instructions. Right? Otherwise, you will end up with a crash course. You go to a crash course to learn all that, and you will be crashed. The course will be crashed. Everybody will be crashed. Right? That's why we should take time. We should take time, and then slowly be learning things, and then we are going to practice in the best possible way. That is Nibbana. Definitely, we are supposed to release us from samsara. Nibbana is the goal of the Noble Eightfold Path. This one we have to discuss because the next noble truth is the Noble Eightfold Path. Actually, we have discussed already. I don't want to discuss that a lot. The Noble Eightfold Path. Now tell me, where can we see Nibbana in the Noble Eightfold Path? We have discussed that many times. Where is Nibbana? We have 8 path factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Samadhi. Now, where does Nibbana rise? Where is Nibbana here? In the path. You can raise your hand. Where is Nibbana? Now, let's say somebody practices from 1st to the 8th, and somewhere in the journey practice simultaneously all together. But where is Nibbana? Where is Nibbana supposed to arise? Where you will be attaining Nibbana in the path? I discuss it at the level of Samma Samadhi. When you have the perfect Samadhi, right Samadhi, concentration, wisdom arises naturally. What is it? Nibbana. It arises naturally. It swells out of the right concentration. Wisdom does not arise in any other place. Wisdom means panya. That means Nibbana. You may be somewhere in your Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami attainments. But once you hit Samma Samadhi properly, wisdom arises naturally. You cannot create wisdom. You have to let it arise. Wisdom is as such. There are people who want to be wise. Can you become wise? You can become wise, but not in that noble eightfold pathway. You can become wise as a person in your life. But if you want to become wise according to the noble eightfold path, you must practice very well these eight paths. Practice at the level of Samma Samadhi, then wisdom naturally arises. That is what we call by Nibbana. So the goal of Noble Eightfold Path is Nibbana. Right? Two Nibbana states, very important, very connected to today's topic too. Sopadisesa Nibbana, Nirupadisesa Nibbana. We have another word called Anupadisesa. Nirupadisesa. Two Nibbana states. How do we understand this, dumb folks? Tell me. How do we understand these two? I think I already explained to you in a previous session. Now let's say you are going to attain Nibbana one day. Then what Nibbana state you will be attaining out of these two? So Padisesa and Nirupadisesa. Which one are you going to attain if it is happening to you in this life? First one or the second one? First one. Sopadisesa. Sopadisesa means, you can see here, Nibbana with the remainder. What is the remainder? This one, Nibbana without remainder. Remainder means? Huh? Now let's say tomorrow you're going to attain Nibbana. What will happen to you? Just imagine. It can happen, right? Everything is anicca, right? Why not? Why not? Even maybe in a minute of time. Then you are attaining Nibbana with these five aggregates. Huh? This body of five aggregates will not be finished. That means we call it Sopadisesa Nibbana. This one. We are going to, yeah, this one. This is the Nibbana you are attaining in general. In general. Say, if anybody attains Nibbana, that person attains this Nibbana state. So passes. That means this remainder means five aggregates. But the problem is that still you are carrying your body until you die. That means, can you enjoy the full benefits of Nibbana? You cannot, because this body has sicknesses, this body has aging, and then you will have to go through some of the unpleasant experiences in your life. You will have to be with the same people. Just because you attain Nibbana today, the people in your household, will they become changed to you? Will they become changed to you just because you attain Nibbana? No, they will be the same people, right? Will the whole society be changed according to your Nibbana? No. That means you still have to deal with all these situations, people. That means you are not getting the full benefit of Nibbana, although you attain Nibbana. Then one day, when you pass away, we call it the second state of Nibbana. There are two states of Nibbana. So Padisesa, then Nirupadisesa. Then your five aggregates body also will finish. Then you are attaining the Nirupadisesa Nibbana also. Then Sopadisesa, Nirupadisesa. Full state of full-fledged Nibbana. That is very interesting, actually. I don't know whether many of you got that. Nibbana has two states. Two stages, I would say. The first stage is that you attain Nibbana by practicing whatever the good things and attaining Nibbana. But you still will not be able to perfectly experience Nibbana until you pass away one day. Because you still carry the body. Till you carry the body, you are bringing all the issues with the body. Right? Then you will see the fullest state of Nibbana. This is why we call Shakyamuni Sambuddha passed away in the Anupadisesa Nibbana Dhatu. Nirupadisesa, same. Anupadisesa or Nirupadisesa. That means the word Parinibbana, same. Parinibbana also another term for this. Parinibbana. This is another word for Nirupadisesa. Here you can see Nibbana also. Right? This is Nibbana. Then Nibbana is Upadisesa, but then Nirupadisesa means Parinibbana. So Nibbana plus Parinibbana equal to the full state of your Nibbana. That means that particular Arahant has to pass away to fully experience. He might not experience after the passing away, but in order to look at that he or she is not taking up samsara back again, he or she can feel ahead of the time that this is what is going to happen to me one day when I pass away. There's nothing. No Gandhabba is going to another body. No karma is going to another body. And my physical body is decomposed, finished, and my Nibbana is complete. This is what we learned there. This is very interesting. The next area. Nibbana and Vimutti. This is another very famous word because Vimutti is a word that you see in Pali as liberation or freedom. Now in Buddhism, in the Buddhist text, we see how are we to understand the word called Vimutti. Now Vimutti means another synonym to Nibbana. So we have to understand what it is. This is similar to moksha in Sanskrit. Moksha. I think you might have heard this word, moksha. The moksha of Hindus, moksha of Jains. That means liberation or freedom. So this Pali word, learn how does someone attain Nibbana? What is the nature of their Nibbana? There are three types of people who attain Nibbana. The way how they practice the certain Dhamma things and how they achieve. The first type of people we call it Cheto Vimutti. The second person is called Panya Vimutti. Third person we call Ubato Bhaga Vimutti. Cheto, Panya, Ubato Bhaga. Now let me tell you in short. You might probably be confused what these are. Now, there are some people who attain Nibbana by releasing their mind. Now, until we attain Nibbana, what are we supposed to do? We have to base on an object. When you meditate, what are you going to do? Tell me. When you meditate, when you do your anapanasati, when you do your loving kindness, what are you normally doing with that meditation? What is the process? Nature. You are picking out one object and thinking about it, right? Anapanasati, you are watching your own breath. There's an object. Metta meditation, we have objects, people, things, right? Then when you do any meditation, you have an object. Why we are picking out objects? That is the way how we can tranquilize or calm our mind when you are particularly focused on an object in a holistic, wholesome way. Even you can become evil by focusing on an object. That is also easy. When somebody is angry with somebody else, when somebody is irritated about somebody else or things, they will also respond in the bad. But in order for you to calm your mind, you will have to pick out an object. But one day you will understand mind is also a problem to you. Because of the mind, everything is happening. Objects, you have to calm the mind, you have to keep the mind focused, you have to keep the mind concentrated. Then you have to release from your mind also, isn't it? That is what we call by Cheto Vimutti. Initially, when somebody practices jhanas, first, second, third, fourth jhanas, so maybe four Brahma Viharas, what they are doing, they are trying to first take an object and then to calm the mind. Once they calm the mind, they're going to release their mind from the object. Now, this happens when some people are doing feedback for me. Bhante, you asked us to watch the breath, but at a certain point, I felt I don't breathe. I don't feel breathing. I said, yes, it can happen when it is very subtle. When your breaths are very subtle, you will feel you are not breathing, but you are breathing. You are not breathing, you're going to die. The thing here is that you don't feel it now, but it's happened. So that means what has happened? The object has become very subtle. Before the object was very, what we call, very clear. You can feel that you are breathing, you are not breathing, you are breathing short, long, whatever. But when you are refining your breath as such, in the course of time, you will feel you are not almost not breathing, but you are breathing. What I'm telling you here is that when you are really focusing on a certain object, then you are going to master on it. When you are master on it, at a certain point, you will feel, I don't have to focus on objects anymore. There you understand mind is a problem. Because of the mind is trying to pick up or pick out certain objects. Then you feel once your mind is subtle, perfectly serene, but you're not yet at Nibbana, you feel, okay, I have to release from the mind. We call it Cheto Vimukti. That is called Cheto Vimukti. I first want to summarize these three people, then I will explain. So this releasing of the mind is a fundamental approach to attaining Nibbana. Hindus, Jains, even you, when you go to a meditation retreat, what you are doing is you are trying to do the Cheto Vimukti. I don't know whether how many of you know these words and context. What you are doing is Cheto Vimukti. Sometimes when you do Cheto Vimukti in the proper way, if you could take Cheto Vimukti thinking, uh, I mean, you can say not thinking. There's no what you call distraction. There are no any hassles happening out of my mind. Panya Vimukti means there is somebody who is practicing vipassana, anicca dukkha anatta, thereby attaining nibbana. That person is called Panya Vimukti. This person practice any jhanas. That means in Buddhism, there is someone who is attaining nibbana without any jhanas. No samatha bhavana is needed for that person. No samatha bhavana is necessary for that person. They are called Panya Vimukti people. What happens when you have Panya Vimukti? That means one day when you attain Nibbana, you will find out Panya is also something that I have completed. Now, when you become an Arahant, do you have to struggle with your Panya anymore? No need. You have finished developing Panya. How about us? Do we have to develop Panya more and more? Yes. So we cannot release Panya from us. We have to develop panya to the level of that completion. Once you complete, you release yourself from panya. It's also no problem. One, right? If you carry anything forward, it could be a problem. So at the level of Cheto Vimukti, there are people who release their mind by jhanas or whatever, apamanya, brahmaviharas. At the level of Panya Vimukti, there is somebody who attains Nibbana by focusing on Anicca Dukkha Anatta, change of everything, and then dissatisfaction of everything, and then what you call not self perspective. And there's another person here, Ubato Bhaga Vimutta. Let me show you again. You can see here. Ubato Bhaga. Now, Cheto Vimukti person, Panya Vimukti person, Ubato Bhaga Vimukti person. Now, what does Ubato Bhaga Vimukti person mean? Ubato Bhaga Vimukti means there is someone who is doing the both, who is doing both Cheto Vimukti and Panya Vimukti. That means practice both jhana and practice vipassana. Thereby, he or she attains Nibbana. Now, let's take a look at these three perceptions. Cheto Vimukti. There are 6 types of Cheto Vimukti. That means different Cheto Vimuktis for different people. Adukha Masukha Cheto Vimukti. Neutral liberation of the mind. What does it mean? This is what you call by the Cheto Vimukti you may earn by practicing jhanas. First, second, third, fourth jhanas. This is called the first Cheto Vimukti. Second Cheto Vimukti, Brahma Vihar, immeasurable liberation of the mind. That means Appamanya. When you practice Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka for a certain time, if you are mastering on it, if you master your Metta, if you master on Karuna, if you master on Mudita and Upekka, you will attain a sort of Cheto Vimukti. We call it a different Cheto Vimukti. Here, Appamanya Cheto. This one is a little different. Unshakable liberation of the mind. Akuppa Cheto Vimukti. It is only relevant to the Arahants, Pacceka Buddhas, and Sammas. Akuppa, unshakable. I think we found this one in the Dhammacakkappavattana. You can go check it. Akuppa. Akuppa means their Cheto Vimukti is unshakable. Now, these first two Cheto Vimukti are shakable because once you expire from your jhana, you will become the same person back again. So your Cheto Vimukti will be gone. But you have it for some temporary time. Let's say you release your mind for a couple hours in a retreat. You release your mind in the morning, but then again, you are not able to release your mind. Then you practice Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekka during the day, maybe during a retreat. But once you come up, once you leave the place, you might lose your levels of Brahma Vihar. Then your Cheto Vimukti also will fall away. But Akuppa means the Cheto Vimukti and Arahant, Pacceka Buddha, Samma Sambuddha creates. So their release of the mind is very, what you call, unshakable. Call it Akuppa. These are also certain small Cheto Vimuktis. Liberation of the mind through nothingness. This is one of the Arupa jhanas. Liberation of the mind through emptiness, Sunyata. Liberation of the mind through signless, Animitta. So what you need to understand is Cheto Vimukti is one way to attain what you call peace. But there are certain individuals out of Cheto Vimukti who will go to Panya Vimukti and then attain Nibbana. But Cheto Vimukti is simply the nature of someone who is trying to attain certain jhanas. Then, if you are able to get into the second level, what I call here Panya Vimukti, it is the final release from dukkha and the end of rebirth, attained through the practice of insight vipassana. For example, an arahant who is liberated by wisdom, or Samma Sambuddha, or Pacceka Buddha, liberated by wisdom, has realized the Four Noble Truths of universal dukkha, origin of dukkha, cessation of dukkha, and the path leading to the cessation of dukkha through the practice of insight meditation. That means panya, bhakti, and has totally eradicated all the mental asanas. However, in terms of concentration meditation samadhi, they would only develop one or more of the four fine material deep absorption states and will not go to develop any of the former states. That means any Samma Sambuddha, Arahant, or Pacheka Buddha who only practices Panya Vimukti perspective, they will not rely on the Arupa jhanas. They only practice Vipassana. Now, Vipassana here means Anicca Dukkha Anatta perspective of everything in this universe. You can see then I'm quoting a sutta here, Vijja Bhagya Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 2.32. Let's read a little bit here. Dveme Bhikkave Dhamma Vijja Bhagya Katamepi Samatot Vipassana. These two qualities have a share in clear knowing, which to Samatha and Vipassana. Samato Bhikkave Bhavito Katang Anubhuti, Chittang Bhaviyati, Chittam Bhavitatang Kang Attang Anubhuti. Your raga also pahi. When tranquility or samatha is developed, what purpose does it serve? The mind is developed, thoughts, and when the mind is developed, what purpose does it serve? Raga is abandoned. Right? When you practice samatha meditation, your raga, your lust will be abandoned, at least withdrawn for a shorter time. Then, when insight, panya, is developed, what purpose does it serve? Panya is developed. When the panya is developed, what purpose is served? Ignorance is abandoned. You can see vipassana bhikkave bhavita kang attang anubhuti. Panya bhavi yadi panya bhavitang kang attang anubhuti. Ya avicca sa pahiya. Now this is a very important statement. Defiled by passion, rather, the mind is not released. That means, let me ask you, why we cannot release our mind? Because our mind, we are highly inspired by raga. That is why we cannot release the mind. So if you want to release the mind, you're going to practice some samatha. At the same time, you can practice Brahma Vihara, whatever. Actually, now you might be confused with regard to our Noble Eightfold Path teaching. I said there is no Samatha Vipassana separate. Actually, yes. Samatha Vipassana are part of the Satipatthana. There are times they were taken out and explained like this, but they are part of the Satipatthanas. Under the four Satipatthana. So here, what you have to understand is, when you are practicing samatha meditation, maybe Brahma Vihara meditation, what you are doing is that you are trying to overcome your lust. But when you are practicing Vipassana, I would say Panya, what you are doing is that you are going to overcome your avijja. That means Raga Viraga, Avijja Viraga. That is what we are going to learn here. You can see here. Raga Viraga, Avijja Viraga. Defiled by passion, the mind is not released. Defiled by ignorance, wisdom does not develop. That means when you don't have Cheto Vimutti, your mind is not released. When you don't have Panya Vimutti, your Panya also does not develop. Thus, from the fading of passion is their wisdom release. From the fading of ignorance is their wisdom release. This should be fading of passion is their mind release, actually. Should be mind release. And from the fading of ignorance is their wisdom release. You can see. Itiko bhikkave raga viraga cheto vimurti avijja viraga panya. That means we need to understand how to release the mind, how to release our panya. How can we release our mind? By overcoming our lust. That is what you do in your samatha meditation and your Brahma Vihara meditation, metta, karuna, mudita, upekka. I don't have to practice develop panya. That means you have released you from panya as well. Cheto vimutti, then panya vimutti. Very interesting. Now, this is what we understand by somebody attaining Nibbana. There should have the Cheto vimutti part, there should have the panya vimutti part. Some people directly practice panya vimutti. They are very capable of practicing panya. Some people, they have to start from Cheto vimutti, practice some jhana, practice. You can see the third category, Ubato Bhaga Vimutti. There are people who have to practice the both. Like today's many people, they go to Samatha retreat, they go to Vipassana retreat. They do Samatha, they do Vipassana. They do a bit of Samatha, they do a bit of Vipassana. Now, it is also a way. That means somebody starts practicing Samatha meditation. What is Samatha meditation, Dhamma? Let me ask you this simple question. You are just listening to me. I don't know whether you understand these tiny things. What is Samatha meditation? Somebody tell me. I think I can't hear. You can say a little louder. What does Samatha meditation mean to you? Huh? Concentration? No, what do you do in the Samatha meditation? I'm not asking you to translate. Huh? Of course, calming the mind. I mean, what do you do in that? What do you do in that Samatha meditation? Definitely, we have to focus on an object. Definitely, calm. We have to calm the mind. Definitely, we have to pick out an object. I'm asking, what are you doing in there? Ah, yeah, calm the mind. Yes. How do we do that? According to Samatha meditation, how do we do it? Huh? Mindful breathing. Samatha means overcoming 5 hindrances. This is Samatha meditation. This is the purpose of Samatha meditation. In order for you to be calm, you must withdraw yourself from 5 hindrances. Make sense? What are the 5 hindrances? Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddachaka, Kucha, Vichikicha. You are going to withdraw yourself from these 5, at least temporarily. Then your mind will be calm. Now I ask all of you that thing. All right? So now there are people who do this, who start with this samatha practice. That means they are doing the Cheto Vimutti part. First one, Cheto Vimutti part. They are going to release their mind by practicing samatha. That means they are going to overcome 5 hindrances as much as possible. Then they also practice vipassana. They're also going to see everything as it is. Or they're also going to see how things come to be, how Panchakanda rises, how Panchakanda state, how Panchakanda perishes. Right? All these changes. Then Samatha, Vipassana together. Then attain Nibbana. They have the jhana practice, they have Vipassana. We call them as Ubato Bhaga Vimutti. Release from both jhanas and both pan. 3 types of people. This is connected to Nibbana. Why? That means not everybody is going to attain Nibbana in one way. You may be a Cheto Vimutti person. You may be a Cheto Vimutti and Panya Vimutti person. You may be Cheto Vimutti Panya Vimutti person at the same time. That is how you're going to attain Nibbana. That is why I mention it here. And Arahant, freed or liberated by both ways, has attained liberation, freedom by wisdom through the practice of insight vipassana to realize the Four Noble Truths and to eradicate mental defilements, and has also developed the formless deep absorption, arupajana, through samadhi meditation. That means they practice both samatha and vipassana together and become ubatopaga. Having first developed the four fine material, four upajanas, they continue to develop the four arupajana, upajana, arupajana, and then practice vipassana. That means panyamanipa. Now, look at this one. Very interesting. Cheto vimutti becomes permanent only with the attainment of panya. Now, don't take the word permanent. Your cheto vimutti will be fine. Cheto vimutti practice will be perfect, complete, if you bring cheto vimutti to the panya vimutti level. Now, a lot of people don't do that. They just do a very simple meditation. They think, okay, now today I'm happy. I'll just go back to my normal meditation. If you are really serious about it, if you are really serious, then you have to shift from samatha to vipassana time to time. You can do it time to time practice. All right. We have a couple more, so we're going to be a little bit brief as soon as I can. What is the connection of anatta to nibbana? What is anatta? Anicca dukkha anatta. Anatta means, do we have a soul in Buddhism? We don't have a soul, but we have something. How do we call it? No. I mean, the English word soul is a word used to identify sansaric people. In English they say our souls become, this and that. Kind of continuing thing. So panchakanda you have to finish and then take another panchakanda. So what could be an equivalent word for soul in Buddhism? You don't have a soul. We call it, what is going from here to the next life? Is it our panchakanda? No, panchakanda is dropped here. Is dropped here. What is going from here to the next life? What came from next life to this life? Our sankharas, we call it sankharas. Karma. Karma means, how do we call sankhara? What is karma in the five aggregate set? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara. Sankhara means our karma part. Then these sankharas, they are going to take the form of bhavanga vinya. But the problem is that our sankharas are always being changed. All the moments they are being changed. Otherwise, somebody can say, see, you are going to be reborn. You are the same person. Where is anicca? No, you are not the same person. You are not the same person. And you are not somebody else. You are between those two, but your karmas are always being changed. All the time they are being changed. So what you're going to say is that an entity that is always being changed came from last life to this life, and going from this life to the next life, and from that life to the other life. This entity is always being changed, always being changed. So it is friendly with the anicca concept, dukkha concept, perspective. Anatta means there is a Buddhist teaching that the Buddha asks us to practice, that there is no atta at that level. That means this is merely a bunch of five aggregates, maybe 12 ayatanas, 18 elements. But atta exists at the conventional level. Now, do we call people like, you are also panchakanda, you are also panchakanda, I'm also panchakanda? Do we call like that? Can we call like that? You're going to be very rude and mean to other people. You don't do that. Okay, there is Anne, there is Jacob, there is Louis. We respectfully call people like that. That means Atta exists at the conventional level. But the ultimate level we understand, Buddha says, there's another version to use, that is, there is no Atta if you take it this way. Because what we see is not that person, it is a combination of the five attributes. Then we understand there is Anatta, right? There is Anatta. Now, this is a very interesting concept if you really want to become happy. Now, if you were blamed today, if you were criticized by somebody today morning or yesterday, maybe in the past, you have to let go of that previous self, right? Not you were blamed, your previous self was blamed. Now you are a new self at this point. But unfortunately, a lot of people forget about it. I was blamed. How come you blame me? I've been doing a lot of good things, right? This is one of the very interesting lessons that we can practice in our daily life. Right? Do not keep your previous self, because previous self is already gone. Previous self that uh, underwent that particular situation. Now it's a new self. In a moment of time, it's another new self. So anatta concept is such important. It is directly connected to Nibbana. Because when you attain in Nibbana, you have no maintenance of atta in whatsoever levels. Call it. There's a connection to Nibbana. Nibbana is the unconditioned. I think I told you this many times. Everything is conditioned in this whole universe except Nibbana. Because Nibbana is not constructed by somebody. Everything else is constructed. We are constructed by our mother, father. Buildings are constructed by something else, maybe Pataviya Putijo Vayu. We are Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara. Nibbana is the what you call unconstructed. The only thing that is that means when you attain Nibbana, there is no construct. It itself becomes the end, right? Asankara, we call it asankara. Nirodha Samapatti. What is Nirodha Samapattam, folks? It is a certain jhana. It's a Buddhist jhana. We call the ninth jhana, actually. In order to understand Nirodha Samapatti, I would tell you this way. There are some arahants, maybe some Samma Sambuddhas or Pacceka Buddhas. They sometimes come up with a feeling. They want to feel the happiness of Nibbana when they pass away. Like when they face the second state of Nibbana. What is it? Nirupadisesa Nibbana. So what they are doing? They are going out of the city, maybe to a calm place, remote place, and they are practicing this Nirodha Samadhi. Another word for this is Sanya Vedaita Nirodha. They want to temporarily withdraw their Sanya and feelings, perceptions and feelings. Can we do that? Can we temporarily withdraw our perceptions and feelings? We can't do it. But those arahants, Pacceka Buddhas, Samma Sambuddhas, they can do, because they want to feel when they spend 1 week of time like that without perceptions. Now, same perceptions are in the Panchakhanda. Feelings, they will feel, this is what is going to happen to us when we pass away one day. So this is a very interesting area to study about what is happening to someone. What is happening to people, what is happening to somebody who attained Nibbana? What is happening to someone who became an Arahant, Pacceka Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, is the state of mind when someone is into Nirodha Samadhi. So it's highly connected to the Nibbana. So when someone attains Paranibbana, they are going through the same happiness when someone attains Nirodha Samadhi. Finally, the nature of Nibbana. How many of you can remember this Pali stanza? Viratta Chinta Ayatike Bhavasmin. Okay, here. Kinang Pura. Kinang Puranang Navang Natti Sambhavang. Viratta Chinta Ayatike Bhavasmin. It has to be Kina. Te Kina Bija Avirulhi Chanda. This one. Nibbanti Dhira Yathayang Paditu. Where is it mentioned? This is mentioned in the which sutta is giving this stanza? Kinam Puranang Navannatti Sambhava Viratta Chitta Ayati Kevavas. Ratana Sutta. What is it? Ratana Sutta. If you are someone who only reads chanting, you might not be able to think about it. You try to memorize, you can think about it. This is a part of the Ratana Sutta. Now, Ratana Sutta says, what will happen to someone when they attain Nibbana? Let's see how it was given. Nibbanti dhira yathayam. Here, you can see here, those wise people, arahants, Pacheka Buddha sons, fade out of their bhava as the flame of this lamp, which has just faded away. Padipo means the light of the lamp, and Nibban. Now, what will happen? How do we call when the light of the lamp goes off? Can we say the light of the lamp went to this direction, that direction, this direction? You can find it here, there. You cannot point out the direction of the light of the lamp which went. In the same way, if you are concerned about what will happen to you, definitely you are attaining Paranibbana. Once you attain Nibbana, one day you will pass away. You are becoming somebody whose life is going to be what will happen to the same thing, what will happen to the light of the lamp. Can't pinpoint that entity. Entity is fully deconstructed. There is no more entity. You are not creating any more entity. That is what we understand by the nature of Nibbana here. So today what we learn here is the third noble truth. The third noble truth is about what we call introduction to the next one next Monday, but not going to do the Noble Eightfold Path because we already discussed it. And then moving on to the Tiparivatta and Dvadasankara next week. That is the plan. So now I will leave you to ask any questions about today. If you have a question, you can come forward near the laptop and you can ask. Any questions about today? Yes, please. Okay. Yes, I can hear you very well. Yes, go ahead, please. What is the second question? What is it? I mentioned about the stanza about the lady, and then okay. Interesting. Good. Okay, answers. First, you asked about three fires. Three fires are none other than three poisons. Raga dosa moha, loba dosa moha. Greed, hatred, delusion. Greed, hatred, delusion. That is the answer to question. Second one, like that means, now this lady, this lady was looking at Prince Siddhartha. Okay, Prince Siddhartha was already married at that time, in our understanding. So she looked at this man and felt immediately kind of a happiness. So the mother who owns this son, the father who owns this son, the wife who owns this husband should be very happy. That happiness is related to Nibbuti, the Pali word Nibbuti. We call Nibbuti to be the state of Nibbana. But at that time, they also used to say I would say, satisfaction perspective, maybe contentment perspective. Like that means that content. Okay, good. And Brother John, your question, please. Okay. Yeah, at the time of the Buddha, a lot of people, they attain Nibbana by listening to a Dhamma talk. And then, yes, Panya Vimukti, definitely. They didn't have enough time to practice samatha. So instantly, immediately, they were able to look at everything through anicca dukkha. They just attained Nibbana. Panya Vimukti people. Panya Vimukti people. But that is why I am telling you there are different people. Some people have to practice jhanas, meditation, those samatha meditation. Some people just practice vipassana. Some people have to practice the both. We can take another question if you have. After that, we're going to wrap this up. So the ability, or maybe I would say, uh, the true way that you need to practice this Nibbana part depends on your individual character. So you may be someone who might need to practice samatha at the beginning, or you may be already wise enough to go to vipassana, or you may be someone who has to practice the both at the same time. How do you know that? You have to consult a good teacher. That teacher will do a personal assessment about you, your way of thinking, what you think, and how your activity is being done, and then the teacher will tell you. But for the moment, please understand, not everybody attains Nibbana in the same way. Now, you mentioned about the listening to the Dhamma, then you should be a Panya Vimukti person to become so. Other people will become Cheto Vimukti. Or many people will become both Cheto Vimukti and Panya Vimukti. So that really, so finally what is happening is that you are releasing you from your own mind, because we have to release from our mind. What are a lot of people saying? I have to release from this burden in my life. This person, those things are very, very much burdensome. But finally, you have to release from your own mind. It is the burden. And then, but that thing cannot be done just by, some people make some ignorant decisions. They take their life. You are releasing from your mind, not by doing harm to yourself. You are releasing your mind, you are releasing you from your mind by going to the perfect calmness. Right? That is how we are going to look at it. Cheto Vimukti. All right, I think that's enough for the questions. So we're going to be transferring good karmas now. to the departed ones and the Devanaga Mahitika. And I want to tell you something. I understand that the level of our sutta discussions that we are doing now, a little bit advanced, getting a little bit. So please, if you have any questions, please ask me. Please send to the WhatsApp. I can definitely answer your questions. If you have anything that you feel that you need more information, some clarifications, don't just sit and go, because then you will be the person who will be struggling if you don't understand. Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to transfer all the good karmas. May all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. If the departed ones were reborn in a place of discomfort, pain, may they be able to release from those places of discomfort and pain. If they are already born in a place of happiness, comfort, may they be able to improve their happiness and learn more Dhamma, practice more Dhamma, and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. May Deva Naga Mahitika be well and happy. May they share, receive all the good karmas, and may they protect all of you, your family members, your parents, even your grandchildren, for good health, quality of life, and prosperity. May Deva Naga Mahitika finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammihi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammihi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammihi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya akasatthacha bummatta divanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasanang akasatthacha bummatta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva shirang rakkhantu desanang akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang paranti chirang rakkhantu tvang sadati. I want to share good merits with everybody at Buddhist Mahavihara for hosting, doing all these preparations to do the Sutta study. That is how we have been able to do all this. Thank you everybody, including Brother Leslie and all the others in the Vihara. And also we're going to make a wish. May all the good karmas be supportive and helpful for all of us to have Kalyana Mitrata. I would say maybe be in the company of the Kalyana Mitras. Kalyana Mitras do help us in maintaining our noble friendships. Maybe be not in the company of the Papa Mitras who can pull us out, draw us out from the Dhamma path. Thinking thus, we're going to make a wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavanimbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siris nichang baddha prachayino chattaro dhamma baddhanti ayuvanno sukang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atho nibbana sampatti iminati samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu. Sutta study is over today. and wishing you a good night and see you the next Monday. Over to Brother Leslie.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for sharing the third of the Four Noble Truths. And I think next Monday we will do the last, that is the path leading to the cessation of unsatisfactoriness. So let us take this opportunity to thank Bhante for this evening, for sharing the 1.5 hours with us and sharing his knowledge. And Bhante, have a safe and healthy and happy situation there. I presume you're still in Sri Lanka. I'm not sure where you are. But all the same, we wish you all the best and be safe and be healthy and be peaceful always. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We will see you next Monday, Bhante. Just before you go, just one observation. Those of you who have your handphones with you, please put it on silent mode or on mute. So when it goes off on notifications, it's irritating and it's also being recorded. So please, in the next Monday, if you're coming, make sure your phone's on silent or on airplane mode, yeah? Thank you.
Dear Brother Leslie, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.